Hey, what is up, my fellow golf ball addicts? We have another review. We're doing another model of the Deadspin, this time the Tour as promised. Look at this thing. Let's dive right in. Guys, as always, if you love this content, please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the channel out a lot. If you love unbiased golf ball reviews towards the average swing golfer, we've really built a lot over the last 4 years, and we'd love to have you here if you're new to the channel. Also, we do have a membership. It just starts at $1 a month, but it does help the channel out. So if you remember, I did a review on the Deadspin Pro, and I didn't really care for it. It was really heavy. I didn't like it. Priced at $39.99 a dozen. You know, just really didn't like the heaviness of it and how slow it came off the club. Numbers weren't great. And at the end of that review, you'll remember I saw that they had a DS Tour model, which was $10 cheaper, $29.99 a dozen, still a 3-piece urethane, but 75 compression opposed to 85. So I thought, okay, if you soften it up a little, maybe it has a little more forgiveness, maybe it'll come off the club a little better. So I definitely ordered some, and I wanted to get this review out to see if it's any better. Remember, every golf ball deserves a chance. That's why we review every golf ball we can get our hands on. So, well, of course, as you can see, this golf ball, very unique. We'll get to that in just a second, but this is the Tour model. It comes in at $29.99, which still, for a 3-piece urethane, is awesome. And what's really cool about that is now you're getting into a price range where that's a really, really good value. That's very competitive. At $39.99 a dozen, you know, it's tough because you're competing with a lot of brands. You're competing with, like TaylorMade Tour Response, and you're competing with the Vice golf balls. That's a tough market. That's really, really tough if you're a new and upcoming company. But being at $29.99, there's a lot of people that'd be like, 3-piece urethane, that's pretty good. So they're going to jump on that. Now, this golf ball comes in a variety of unique colors. It comes in this matte black, of course, as you can see, and it also comes in a gold color. There's definitely some off-the-wall colors there, and I give it credit because I talk about it all the time when it comes to the direct-to-consumer golf balls. You got to be unique. You got to stand out somehow, and sometimes that can be a little color like this. You stand out already. It's already unique, or sometimes it's little details in how you design it or how it feels off the club. You have to do something that stands out. Check. We got that checked off pretty early. So let's go ahead and dive into this golf ball. 3-piece urethane. Let's go ahead and look at that front there. This is an amazing logo. I really love what they've done with this contrast. Having a black golf ball with that white contrast looks awesome. The logo being that skull, really a Pirates theme. It's simplistic, but it's awesome. It stands out. It really just pops. It just pops like no other golf ball I've really seen, which is really cool. Looking on the side there, as you can see, it says Deadspin, which that's the alignment tool. That's awesome. And then on the other side, they actually put DS Tour to tell you what it is. So a really well-designed golf ball. I like that they did an alignment tool on one side and then telling it on the other. If this had just been the alignment tool, the DS Tour part, I wouldn't have cared for it. I'd got riled up. Now keep in mind, a couple people have mentioned this, matte golf balls don't always perform the best in wet conditions. So if there's a lot of dew in the morning, or if you play in a really wet area, the matte I would probably stay away from. But here in Florida, I play in the afternoon most of the time, and it is dry as can be. So really not an issue there, but just keep that in mind. So it's a really well-designed golf ball. That's what drew me to it. That's why I wanted to test it out. So without further ado, let's get out and see how it performs. Let's start with the pitching, chipping, and putting. All of it. Let's just get out there and let's see how it does. Very soft, very kind of rubber feeling, like some spring to it. A little muted for sure. It almost feels like that black paint is heavier for some reason. I mean, it probably isn't, but like that's how the feel is. It did have a decent amount of checkup. Let's try again. Kind of acts like it was going to, but boy, it had a pretty firm release. I'm going to open the face just a tad here, see if I can really get one close. Yeah, not very much. I would say it's below the 50% threshold. It has a great feel. It's kind of interesting. It's unique, but it acts like it wants to spin, but as soon as it hits the green again, it just firmly releases off. We'll run it back just to make sure. Going to try to get one to go left here. No left to that. It had the left spin, but as soon as it hit the green, 100% straight. So yeah, not a lot of spin checkup. I'm gonna try to hit a cut here, kind of make it nasty. Again, it acts like it wants to check up, but maybe it's just because it's not like got that polyurethane coating and it's matte, but it just shoots off. It just doesn't really stick very well. All right, I basically expect this to be pretty dead. That's how the other Deadspin golf ball was, and this one's a lot softer, so Definitely going to give it a shot here. Oh my goodness, it's like, first of all, I crushed it, but it's basically like putting nothing. I mean, it's just so ridiculously soft. I mean, it has a lot of spring to it, but boy, I mean, it's almost like I'm putting the outer layer of the golf ball. I'm not even feeling any type of compression, so that's kind of interesting. Oh, woo! That's what I'm talking about right there. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it has plenty of spring to it. It actually travels a long way despite only barely coming back. A little too much. Wow. I thought I just barely gave that ball a kiss, and it's 5 feet past the hole. I mean, that's crazy. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, the feel actually is kind of interesting. It does have a good amount of spring. It's actually a ball I really like. Very unique. I've never putted with anything like that to where I only feel like I'm feeling the outer layer and I don't feel the ball really compressing at all. And so that takes some time to get used to, but I love how far it travels and I love the feel of it. So I would say it's pretty good. I'm gonna get the blade putter now and see how that goes, and we'll see if it's any different. So we just did this mallet putter, really thick, deadening. I didn't mention that before, I apologize. This one's now blade putter, a lot, you know, thinner, old school, usually has more of a click. So let's see exactly how this one does here. Now that one I don't like as much because now I feel the heaviness of it. With the other one, the heaviness was taken away because of the mallet, but because this one has more feedback, I'm not liking the feedback it's given me. Not bad. It still springs a ton though. I mean, there's still so much spring off the club. Oh, there you go. That was hitting the center. Very soft, very buttery. It actually feels pretty good for the most part. I would say the mallet putter is like a 10 out of 10 because it's so unique and I like it a lot. Maybe I'm just buzzing off of it right now. Blade, 8 to 9 out of 10, maybe 8.5 out of 10. Still pretty good, but it definitely lets you know a lot of feedback, but I'm not gonna punish it because that's the whole point of this club. So interesting there. I like the roll. It's consistent. It has a true roll. There was no chug effect. I mean, really about as true roll can get. So that part's phenomenal. It just really sprung off the club a lot more than I thought it would, and that's why I kept going past the hole. All right, so as far as the feel with all golf clubs, so I told you how the DS Pro felt kind of heavy, a little slow. This one's kind of that way, but not nearly as bad. Like, it's a much more subdued version. It still doesn't have a lot of bouncy ball effect. It doesn't feel like it explodes off the club by any means. It kind of reminds me of a souped up Super Soft, like from Callaway. You know, just really dead coming off the club, not a lot of feedback. Does feel still a little heavy, but nothing like that Pro did. That Pro felt like I was trying to lift up a boulder underwater. Just really not my cup of tea. But this one is better. Still not perfect, but I would call it probably, you know, if it's hitting the sweet spot, I would say it's like a 3.5 out of 5. We don't do halves, so that's going to get up to a 4. And then miss hits aren't that great either. I'd call them probably a 2.5, but again, that's going to go up to a 3. So these stars are going to look better than it actually is, but it's not a bad feeling per se. It's just okay. You know, there's a lot of others I felt that are really good. They feel great in the hands. This is just all right. You know what I mean? And as far as forgiveness, it's still good. 3 out of 5 stars. It's definitely a lot better than that Pro was. That Pro was very punishing on miss hits. So let's get into the 50-yard pitch. Let's start with RPM on the backspin. We're looking at 6,208, and that is some straight up dog dookie. That is not what I was hoping for at all. So my average is around 7,300. I really, you know, anything 7,000 is kind of the minimum. If you get at least close to 7,000, that'll work because it may not stop on a dime on the green, but it'll at least stop within a foot of that mark somewhere in there, and that's okay. 6,200. I mean, it's going to roll a few feet, and that's a problem. There's nothing worse than hitting a really good shot, hitting it maybe a yard or two before the hole, and it just kind of starts rolling and keeps rolling, and you're like, okay, stop, 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 stop. You went from being this close to, you know, holing out, and now all of a sudden you're 10 feet away, and that's what kind of this golf ball does. So disappointing there. Let's move into the 9-iron. Let's see if it does any better. We're looking at 141.3 on your distance, which is above average. That's good. 141.6, again, slightly above average. Good. 107.3, a couple mile an hour above my average. That's really good. 6,857, so it spins above my average. So again, really consistent there across the board. 23.2, it launches a little high. So, and that's not a bad thing. That's just a little higher than my average. So there's nothing wrong with that. So Really good numbers there, and what I liked is that it was consistent. It was just, you know, a little better than average, a little better than average, a little better than average, and a little better than average. You know, not really low spin and then really high distance and average ball speed. You know, nothing like that. Everything's really consistent, and it does what it's supposed to do. So far so good. So far better than the Pro, that's for sure. Let's get into the 7 now. We are looking at a smash factor of 1.40. Distance-wise, we are looking at 168, which is almost 4 above, more than 4 above my average. Awesome. 169.4, really good. 119.4, again, 2 mile an hour better than my average. Love to see it. 5,826, 300 RPM more than my average, so it has a really good, healthy amount of spin. 17.7, it wants to launch just kind of mid-high. So again, really consistent there. Really good numbers, explodes off the club face, got some great ball speed, got some great distance. Love to see that. Smash factor was just only slightly above average, but it was still good. I mean, again, this is already way better than the DS Pro, and I'm getting a lot better results with it being lower compression. So it seems to, maybe those slight miss hits are getting a little bit more yardages, and so that way the averages kind of average out a little better, but let's keep it going. Let's go to the 5 hybrid now. 5 hybrid smash factor 1.42, again just slightly above average. 188.4, slightly above average. 189.7, now that's lower than average, so I wonder about the spin. 130.6 on your ball speed, which is just incredible. 130 is just amazing, and look at that spin. 5,733 on your spin. That almost is spinning too much, to be honest with you. I mean, that is a ton of spin. That is by far the most spin I've gotten with any golf ball with the 5 hybrid. And then, of course, it launched at 16.8. So a couple things to unwrap there. Love the ball speed. Love the distance for the most part. I know it's lower, but I mean, I love the distance. The issue is that this golf ball is just ballooning a little too much. Now, you've heard me in the past say that I really enjoy the 5 hybrid when I get a decently high launch and I have a little bit of spin, because I don't mind my hybrids hitting the green and stopping. Sometimes with other golf balls that are distance golf balls, I have trouble with that, where, you know, I can hit the front of the green, and even though I hit it perfect, it still kind of rolls to the back because there just isn't enough height and there just isn't enough spin to make up for that. You know what I mean? Unless I'm on like a really big green, but most of the time that's not the case. It's smaller greens. So I don't mind it having height and spin, but you can hit a point where that's too much. And almost having 6,000 RPM and having almost a 17 launch, this golf ball's ballooning, and that's why I'm losing distance. So although those numbers look incredible or very, very good, I would bring them back down to probably just good because of that. So I don't necessarily mind the golf ball ballooning because I still am getting close to my average, but I wish I'd gotten still a little bit better than my average to keep that consistency. So if that makes sense. But basically, I have to kind of knock it down a little bit. But still a good performance. Let's get into the driver. Let's hope that keeps it going. Looking at a 1.41 smash factor, that's very low. 225.6, slightly below average. 234.4, slightly below average. 141.7, below average. And then 25.35 is kind of a mid-high spin. 14.6 is a perfect mid-spin. I love that 14.6. That's good. But again, the main issue there is going to be that now we're just not getting a lot of spin, or I mean, not a lot of distance on the golf ball. And let's be honest, when it comes to distance on a golf ball, I can make a case that 9 iron, 7 iron, 5 hybrid distance isn't as important. It's really going to be your launch angle versus your spin versus how far it's going, your gapping, all that stuff. But when it comes to driver, it's all about the distance, baby. It really is. Like driver, you can't convince somebody, hey, I know this ball goes 10 yards shorter, but you're getting an optimal, like no one cares. You want the driver to go far. You want to hit massive swamp donkey missiles straight into the stratosphere, so far that you never even see the ball come down. Not the case here. So let's get in. Before I give you my final thoughts, I do want to touch on the durability. Now, as you guys know, matte golf balls always just kill it with durability, and this one's really no different. If you look at this one here, I mean, it looks pretty good. You can see some wear and tear there. You can see some dirt marks and stuff, but the golf ball still feels phenomenal. You can still putt with it. I'd give it like a 9 out of 10. It's not a perfect 10 like a lot of matte golf balls are, but it's still a good 9 out of 10, and I mean, it definitely gets the job done, and it's going to last you 2 rounds probably, as long as you don't hit it off anything major. So I mean, hard to argue with that. But again, matte golf balls always do that, because when a golf ball, when it comes to durability, it's always that outer layer coating that starts getting messed up or gets chips in it, and that's where the putting, it gets wobbly, you know. All right, so final thoughts. You know, I'm glad I tested this golf ball. You know, when it came to Deadspin as the brand, the last one really left a bad taste in my mouth, and I just thought, you know what, Deadspin as a brand probably isn't worth anybody's time. It just isn't. You know what I mean? It just probably is not a good golf ball. I'm not even going to bother testing the Pro X, because if the Pro was too firm and I hated it, there's no way the Pro X is not going to be too firm. You know what I mean? It just, unless someone out there tests it and says, hey, Nick, I tested it, it's wet, you know, no, I don't think it's going to happen. But I am glad I did this one. This one definitely saves, or at least keeps Deadspin's head above water when it comes to their brand, because this is a golf ball that could be worth someone's time. Is it better than a lot of them? No, it probably falls somewhere in the middle. You know what I mean? Out of the top 100 golf balls, it's probably in the 50s or something like that. I mean, it's not fantastic, but it had a lot of really good numbers. It had some good performances. I just wish it had spun more on the 50-yard pitch. I wish, you know, if it had gotten a little more distance, a little more ball speed, that would have been nice, but it is good that it was consistent and at least above average. Really good durability, but again, it just comes back to that driver number. When everything else is average or good or somewhere in there, what really can help save a golf ball is that driver performance. It really can, because if that driver comes out and boom, it's 5-10 yards further, well, then the other stuff really doesn't matter. You can make adjustments to that. You know, you can keep in your mind and go, okay, you know, with this golf ball, I get like 3 yards less or 4 yards less than I did with the other one. Who cares? But with the driver, it's tough. It's tough to take a golf ball that you're getting 250 out of, and now you're getting 240. You know, that 10 yards is a lot of difference when you're talking about 18 holes of golf. So the other thing is, though, that black golf balls, good luck finding them in the fairway. You know, lime green, yellow, bright white, little glitter, all kinds of different golf balls are doing things to kind of shine and show you. And I thought red was the worst color. Like, red is hard to find, especially in leaves and stuff. Good luck. You can hit this ball straight down the fairway and go straight Batman. Where is it? Where is it? I mean, my buddy Alex hit one straight down the fairway, one of the best drives of his life. We looked for that ball for 15 minutes. And finally we gave up. And as we were driving in the cart and I was just like this, like disappointed, I was looking down and saw it in front of me as we were driving by. That's kind of silly. But anyway, just something to keep in mind. Guys, as always, keep watching, keep saving, keep learning. Until next time, I'll see you soon.